Yo, 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 what's up? Everybody hopping into the live. Share this live stream. Double tap, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know what you got to do. When you're hopping in, show some love. We're going to get this popping. Tonight, we're doing a live stream on pretty much talking prison. Anything Q&A, whatever your interests are, whatever your things that, perk your interest in prison politics, the way things work, the justice system, whatever it may be. Let's talk prison tonight. Because across a lot of my videos and my channel, I'm consistently seeing and hearing about, hey, what's this? What's that? So many questions, and I have all the answers. What's up, Epic Roller? Hope you're having a good night, man. So tonight's the night. You can ask me any of the questions. It is a open Q&A on my prison experience or my knowledge of the justice system. I also run a prison podcast by the name of After the Gate. So if you look at my featured channels, you'll be able to see some of the really, really cool stories and just experiences of prison life before, after, during, all that good stuff. And even people that didn't do anything, they're innocent, exoneree. So it's really, really cool to hear their stories and share those with an audience that genuinely cares about a population in society that probably needs the most help next to like individuals with mental health and things like that. Yeah, tons and tons of fights while I was in prison for like the first 2, 3 years I was in during my 6 year prison sentence. It was hectic for me, and it was constant. I was doing tattoos inside there so I could make money and be able to purchase things such as extra food, because anybody that's ever been incarcerated knows they don't feed you good food inside prison, and it doesn't really keep you full for very long. So in prison, you got to hit the commissary. Is there Christians in jail that get picked on? So that's a really good question. I would say it's like this. Inside prison, it's the prey and the predator. It's you know these individuals inside prison. It's a culmination of all these people inside of a state. Sometimes people sent to these prisons from out of state prisons, and these are some of like the worst of the worst people. Not to say, and when I say the worst, they're in a life cycle of crime and negative thinking and all that stuff. So it's really, if you look like a vulnerable person in the sense of they can take what you have or manipulate you into something, that's prison for you. In a nutshell, prison is manipulation to its core. It's real raw. It's not cool. So don't ever go to prison. You said, is there anything that really surprised you news wise when you got out? So I would have to say, just technology in general. Technology was really, really like, okay, we got to understand, when I went to prison, it was 2011. So we think back, that was kind of a long time ago, but I did 6 years up until 2017. So during a 6 year period, I thought I'm going to get out and life's going to be normal. It's not going to be any type of like advanced culture. It's not going to be, flying cars and all this stuff. I don't got to worry about that. But when I did get out of prison after 6 years, it was nuts. The technology, cell phones, the way that different things worked with communication or with just like financial paying. Nowadays, things are nuts. Nowadays, we have cryptocurrency that wasn't around, or it was probably around, but it wasn't huge, and it wasn't like the bubble that was popping. But yeah, technology, iPhones was crazy, and just like day to day things going about like normal life, like getting out of prison. You're always told what to do, when to do it, when to eat, when to go to the bathroom, when to go to sleep, when to wake up, all those things, right? So when you get out on the street, it's this other whole crazy mixture of like, I have this freedom, like I can do this, and people don't. I think that's what sends people back to prison a lot of the time. People don't really believe, that freedom is there, because it's really not. You get out of prison, you did let's say I did a 6 year sentence. After 6 years, I got out on 2.5 years, 3 years of parole. So I was checking in with my parole agent, and it wasn't like I was free. Like I had to check in all the time. There was rules and standards and things that I had to meet in order to properly satisfy the needs of parole and probation. but I don't think people understand that. So getting out of prison, hard. It's really hard. So if you have brothers, if you have sisters, nephews, uncles, whatever it may be, if you have family that's in prison, I did an interview with a probation officer recently on my podcast, After the Gate. So check that out, you guys. Like I said, it's in the featured channels. You'll love all that stuff if you love hearing about prison topics and it perks your interest. Check it out. But she said something really, really that stood out to me. It was love up on your people, because these people getting out of prison and these people getting out of jail and treatment, like they want some, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, these people want to do better. They want to get better. They want to grow. They want a normal life and want to be a productive member of society. But a lot of things hold you back from that reentry and like that proper like, don't get me wrong, correctional facilities, the name, that's a whole spinoff for the world and these taxpayers to pour this money into um, deal with these individuals that go into this warehousing of individuals. I like to call it warehousing of humans. They just warehouse people and they make money off them. Not all the time do people need to be in prison. Certain cases where, okay, this person got so much time, this person got a little bit of time. There has to be like a middle ground for like maintaining justice. There can't be a standard up here and then a standard over here. This person gets 40 years, this person gets 20 years. Laws, it's legal in this state, it's illegal in this state. There's so many like barriers to even a standard of justice that seems wrong. They're scared getting out after 7 to 15 to 20 years. It gets very scary for the individual. I like how you said that. It's true. Getting out of prison is like the most anxiety ridden thing you could ever do. You get out and it's like the the unthinkable. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know about jobs, nothing like that. Did you learn how to make really cool food? So, Zypin, that's a really good question. Did I learn how to make really cool food in prison? I'll say yes, but it's on the side of not healthy. So if people don't really care about health wise foods and things like that, dive into some of the videos that I've made in the past on how to make like prison pizza, prison burritos. Where does all this money go out in all the work squads and stuff like that? They're here in Florida. That's a good question. One second. Let me pull up my chats real quick so that I can see a little better. Okay, so Jack Jacobson said, "Where does all this money go out on all these work squads and stuff like that? They're here in Florida. All this money gets paid per inmate, per individual. Where does it all go?" So, from my understanding with individuals, and I'm going to speak about the Minnesota prison system with this question. Minnesota prison systems get paid per inmate, and it could be on a work crew like what you're talking about. It could be inside of a cell, inside jail, prison, maybe in the care of a treatment facility that they have to go to. They're being instructed to go to through the court system or their probation officer, whatever it may be. They're getting paid for it, and the number that I've heard before is like $33,000 per inmate in Minnesota prison system. So you think about all the inmates that are there, all that money, and that's to house them. You have to think that's to house them, shelter, security, all these things that to maintain the health and to keep this person alive inside prison. You have to feed them, you have to give them clothes, all these other things. Like these are the rights, right? Well, that's not in my eyes, and somebody could speak to this matter. No, you don't spend $33,000 on all this stuff for each inmate. So when you think about it, incarceration is a monopoly by the prison systems to bring people back because they make money. It's like a corporation. You have Walmart, right? They sell toothpaste and toothbrushes. They want people to continue to come back and buy these products, right? What do they got to do? They do marketing. They do certain things. Like they have certain products that maybe don't last as long so that individuals will come back and buy it twice over. Well, that's the same thing for the prison system. All these prisons, whether it's a private prison, state prison, whatever it may be, these are money makers for the individuals behind the walls, behind the people, the financial people, the investors, the people that are behind the actual money that it takes to build these prisons and run them. They're the ones profiting. And there's something else. there's something called MinCore, right? Inside prison systems in Minnesota. You can look it up. It's called MinCore. MINNCORR is the spelling on the name. And this is a production company that creates tons of products, right? They create balloons, they create license plates, they create clothes, they create so many different products. And MinCore creates these products and then goes and sells them to the public, as well as restricts the prison population to only purchase their products. Okay, so listen to what I'm saying. You're inside prison, you have to buy only their products. Now, if you get money sent in, they take 10%. They take 10% of your money coming in, and then they charge you to spend your money on their products. Okay. If you want to send money out, there's a fee. There's so many fees inside prison, and that's the monopoly. They make tons of money off inmates and their families sending in all this money in order to talk on the cell phones, in order to maintain visits, in order to fill their stomachs so they're not grumbling at the end of the night. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're working inside of a prison system in the kitchen and different things have different opportunities and benefits for the positions, right? Like, each prison's different. You're hungry at the end of the night if you don't have money for commissary. They don't feed you that much. And there's certain things as like they give you hygiene, but if you can imagine the free hygiene that these prison systems give these people, let's just say a homeless guy commits a crime, okay? Theoretically. Yeah, it's like cattle, literally like cattle. They're making money. They're making so much money off of prisoners and prison systems and the market. Why would it make sense to put prisoners out into the communities and train them to be better individuals to not come back? Okay. It sounds gravy. It sounds lovely that prison systems would set people up for success. It's not in their favor. So why do so, right? And that I think that's been the case, and it's not something that comes up in the conversations because it's filling the right pockets, right? It's keeping the right pockets warm. It's keeping the right individuals happy, and if somebody brings these topics up, they're probably quieted, or I don't know what I was saying right there. If people bring it up though, they don't allow them to openly speak about these things. Like, I mean, I see people talking about it on social media, but everybody watching, what do you guys think? Is it the prison systems are a problem or they aren't? Like, nobody sees a problem with the prison systems. And I'm not going to bat for individuals that are criminals. I'm talking about individuals that are looking to correct their life, correctional facilities, corrections to correct things, like there's obviously individuals that need to be there for the rest of their life. There's obviously individuals that need to be there for prolonged periods of time and pay their debt to society, such like I did when I did 6 years in prison. But there's this whole misconception behind prison and the solution to fixing recidivism, and combating, people going back to prison. Like, it doesn't have to be cut and dry, go back to prison. It doesn't have to be cut and dry. That person committed a crime and they deserve to be there the rest of their life. That's not the solution either. I don't think people really see that. So it blows my mind. And then the justice system, we can go on for days with how crooked or misleading things can be for individuals. It's 100 different cases. It's crazy. Young Gamer Boy, I have seen Shawshank Redemption. It is a very good movie because it correlates with actual prison conditions. I can speak on that. Shawshank Redemption, like, it can be deemed authentic, as well as movies like Felon. If you've seen the movie Felon, if you've seen the movie American Me, if you've seen the movie what else? Jamesy Boy. These are movies that really, really have things that stood out to me where I'm like, okay, the routines, the rituals, everything like that. It's real life prison. Brittany H, you said, I think it's gross. I didn't realize how crooked the higher ups were. So yeah, Brittany, it's almost in a sense of like it's not to their benefit. That's large corporations too, doing it under our nose, whether it's, putting things into food products that just barely pass health regulations or things like that. It's so many different things that people don't understand. It's like above our head, or you know, maybe call it brainwashing or media manipulation, whatever you want to call it. There's more than the eye sees, and listening more than you talk, and picking up on these things, being very observant is crucial to living a long life, and I don't know, just not being blindsided one day by the facts, I'd say. Yeah, yeah, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. Um, I think it's the individuals that really take that first step, and the individuals that are proactive in, combating those things, combating the I'm not gonna say everybody inside prison systems and the higher ups and people who run them are just crooked, bad people. But you have to think of it like this: with the prison systems in, say, Sweden or Norway, and how many people actually come back to prison in those places compared with America. We are not the land of the free, as people like to call it. We are not um, we're not what the American dream has been fed to us, in my opinion. And everybody has opinion, but we do live in a great. I'd like to say we live in a great country. There's a lot of good to the country. We have pros and cons, just like anything else. And this country could be a lot worse. We could be living in a third world country. We could be living in, with harsher, much harsher laws. It's all about who's running the country at the time. And I do know that there needs to be change, with that said. And we could take lessons from those prison systems in Norway and Sweden, and really, like I said, take notes and lessons, and applicate those things if we don't want to see our family members, our friends, our neighbors, and everybody continue that cycle, going back into prison. I really like that question, about the prison tattoos and how we did them, because as a tattoo artist now out here on the street and having done tattoos, I did tattoos before I went to prison, while I was in prison, and now out. And I'm really looking forward to the next month. Hopefully, I'll be jumping into an apprenticeship at a local tattoo shop here in Rochester, Minnesota. So that'll be super cool to show you guys like my artwork and things that I can jump into. But prison tattoos are crazy, man. Prison tattoos revolve around, you got to get a motor. So finding that motor, and you guys can look it up on Google. There's a ton of cool stuff you can see on how they're put together, and there's a few different methods on how to put prison tattoo guns together, with whether it's the needle and the way it goes, whether it's like a rotary gun or like a straight point. But I would usually get the machine from a shaver. They cost 75 bucks. You'd have to break them. And then you'd have to worry. Once you broke your shaver, you'd have to worry, because guards, when they'd raided your cell, they'd be looking for that shaver. You no longer had it because it's a tattoo gun, and that has to be hidden. So that was a that was something. You get guitar strings, rubber bands, tape, dental floss, all these things to tie stuff together, pin tube, a pin, all these different things. I'll make a video across my YouTube channel. You guys can look forward to it. And it'll be, the construction of a prison tattoo gun, because I know a lot of people are interested on like the logistics of how is each part put together. But let me tell you this, putting together prison tattoo guns and the ink inside of a prison is not easy. You have to literally go and source these items from 10, 15 different places, and you have to get witch hazel from the barber shop, and you have to get guitar strings from, say, somebody who has a guitar that they've ordered, and you have to get like all these different things. Somebody has to burn soot inside their cell, 100 different things, and it's just wild with like how innovative and technical it is in doing a tattoo inside prison. And then just like taking care of it, because I've seen some horrible tattoos, both done. I've seen good tattoos that have turned horrible from like healing. I've seen really good tattoos that just got infections or stuff like that. Bad tattoos that have gotten infections too. So yeah, prison's no joke. So like, don't get tattoos in prison. If you're going to prison, I don't encourage it, because I feel like the resources and everything, just being a tattoo artist out here on the street, all those resources are neglected inside prison. So I don't think it's smart. Just don't do it. Just wait if you can wait. If you don't have a life sentence. If you have a life sentence, it is what it is, or a long time. I don't want to tell you what to do, but yeah, make it happen and be safe. Always be safe. Yo, so Brittany, really good question. Did you have to go the hole? So for my very first like 2.5 to 3 years of my prison sentence, I went to the hole. And when I say I went to the hole, that 3 years, I was maybe out, like, a couple months back and forth, but I literally got out of the hole and went back to the hole the same day after, like, 9 months. So my record inside prison was horrible. I got into a lot of altercations. I was involved in, like I said, I did tattoos. I never actually got caught doing tattoos, but I burned a lot of soot and just certain things that, like, I would get involved with in prison would just lead me to the hole immediately, and it was like I was always in the wrong place at the wrong time, doing the wrong thing, and yeah, it blows my mind. It blows my mind that I sat those like, so when you're in the hole, you're not making any money. So you just not making any money. You come out 1 hour a day of your cell. You get to work out, use the phone, and shower all in that hour, right? So you have to do all that, and it's like, yeah, the hole is degrading. They take all your clothes from you. You go down to a cell. They strip you of everything, search you, and then you don't have anything. Like you literally don't have anything. You're in a cell with nothing. Like not a pen, not a paper. You literally have to sing to yourself, do workouts. Like you have to find things to occupy your mind, and that's one of the craziest things I would say for like mental health and just individuals like trying to I don't know, trying to do their prison sentence. Look up what the hole does to people's mental health. Look up what the hole does to, just like people's sanities. It does not work for human beings to be locked up like that. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. There was times like a fire sprinkler broke in my cell in general population, and I got brought to the hole. I got brought to SEG, and I was there for 6 months, literally 6 months, and I didn't even do it. I didn't break the sprinkler. Some old man did who was crazy that jumped up and was yanking on it and was like, it's like inside prison and jail and in those facilities, everything is out of your control. So you don't have like a say so and like, you could be telling the truth. I was like, dude, I didn't do it. Like did not break my sprinkler. Like there it's clear on the video what happened. I wasn't even in my cell when it happened and it just out of your control. Inside the facilities, you have to do what they want you to do, not what you want to do. And yeah, it's really don't go back. Don't go back to prison. The most that I ever had in my books. That's a good question, Trey. It was like 6,000 and I saved it up all myself. I had about $6,000 on my books. I saw people inside jail that were on that television or inside prison that were on that television show, The First 48, and they had gotten settlements. They had a large settlement where they caught tuberculosis from another inmate in their cell and passed it to their attorney. Their attorney picked up the case. They sued him for millions. This fool had millions on his books, millions, but he was doing like 30 years. And I would not take any of that cash in return for 1 year in prison. Like, no, no. Anybody who's done prison or jail and is insane in their mind realizes like, no, I'm not, never. Um, but no, the old man was not my roommate. It was just a guy that was like standing in my cell, and he went in my cell. He's like loco, went in my cell and started pulling on it, and it was just busted. So blew my mind. It was crazy. Somebody in the comments asked about gangs and did you have beef with any? What was the most? What race ran the prison the most? So really good questions. On prison politics, this is how it went down. So inside prisons and the prisons that I went to a closed custody, then medium, then minimum. So I got a taste of all of the levels of custody. And inside these prisons, it was different. The closed custody was the most violent and the most I had to watch my back with. And I would say that was where I had to deal with the most politics inside prison. And my head like forward with this thinking that I'm not joining a gang when I get to prison. But I knew this was going to cause issues because if you're not inside prison, in a gang, you're not protected. So, other gangs can tell you, you got to pay up or we're all going to jump you. And that kind of happened to me where some individuals in a gang inside Rush City State Prison tried to put some pressure on me. And they didn't understand that I was in there having been charged with attempted murder and assault. And I'm not a sucker, so I'm not paying you a dime. And, I'm all's cool, bro. Like, even when they came up to me and approached me and tried to get me to pay money, because they're like, "You're not in a gang, you're unprotected, so you're gonna have to pay up." And that's pretty much what they were telling me, right? And I told them, "Did you check my paperwork? Do you understand what I'm in prison for? I'm not a punk. I'm not a sucker. I didn't come in here with some bad case, and I'm not paying you a dime. So I hope you're ready for what's coming next after that." So they put some pressure on me, were telling me, "We're going to jump you, we're going to stab you, all this other stuff," right? So I gave it a few days and I kept thinking like, man, I'm gonna get stabbed in the back if I don't pay these fools or if something don't change. So what I did was me being a Caucasian, and this is how prison works, just the logistics of politics and things that how they work, everybody is with their race. Everybody goes to their race. And that's not to say that I joined a racist gang. What I did was I went to the white gang. And these were individuals in there who you know, it's not all racist people inside prison. You have to take this into consideration. Politics run prison. So like respect and things that like principles and standards, this is what runs prison. So everybody runs by that. If like you're a white guy hanging around a different race and you're not they don't understand it, they might push some pressure on you and try to figure out what's up. Is this guy a punk? Is this what? But for me, I went to these individuals that were my same race and told them, look, I'm not looking to join a gang. I'm not, I got my head low and I'm looking to get out of prison. I'm a respectable dude. I'm solid. And these individuals came up to me and told me this. I just want you guys to make sure I don't get stabbed in the back or jumped as a respectable inmate inside prison. And they said, okay, we're going to go talk to him. And they told him, look, this guy will fight your dudes one on one, back to back, every day, no matter what, how many days you want to go, he's willing to do it. So, with that said, we're not going to let you jump him. He's willing to fight. So, we're standing behind him. This is how it's going to go down. And from that moment on, it was over. They knew, and not to say like, I punked out and ran to some people, but it was like in there, I already knew I had to go to somebody for that protection. I had to go ask them, "Will you guys look out for me?" I can't see behind me all the time. I got people putting pressure on me for no reason, and that kind of dictated like my first like 4 months in prison. And after that incident, it was over. People respected me. I literally got asked by probably every single gang that was in there just about, hey, who do you run with? Do you want to run with us? You got a good record. That's what's up. Let's jump in. Um, so it was super. Thank you, Riley Ferguson. I appreciate that, bro. So it was super crazy for me just in the sense of being inside prison, dealing with that like most anxiety ridden stuff, and then just being able to maybe like I'm not gonna say I was able to like go on through my incarceration at that facility unnerved and no anxiety. Like I was still on edge the entire time. But it would be, I'd say, 6 more months, and then I got transferred to a medium after 3 years in there or whatever, um, of doing all that time, right? I was in the close custody facility for about 2.5 years. And I was on my third year in prison that I got transferred to a different prison. And things changed. When I went to a medium prison, things were totally different. It was so much like, say, a country club, things were easier, better food. You didn't have to watch your back. You could wear your sandals and you didn't have to wear your shoes. That's something in prison. Like you're never wearing your sandals outside of your cell because you never know when things are going to crack off. You got to be ready. So you got to have your shoes, right? And those are just the crazy things that like prison politics and all that. Many, many times, hey, I appreciate that ease AJ Steezy for what you said. It's true, dude. Because like many times I thought it would just be so much easier to have that protection all the time, right? But I knew that nah, this isn't this is gonna add, this is just gonna be extra baggage. And this dude told me before I went to prison, um, don't ever plan on your release date being the day you're gonna get out. And I thought, that's insane, dude. This is the day I want to get out. Like, I don't want no extra time added. And he always said something always happens. Luckily, I got out on my release date with the prison sentence I was given. But I always kept that thought in the back of my head. It's like that's what brings people back and forth um, into in that cycle. It's crazy. Yo, so the worst jail or prison that I was in was Rush City State Prison, and I was there from 2012 to about little after 2014, so like close to 2015. Yeah, like I said, it was just watching your back all the time. It's crazy. It was survival of the fittest, and they call it gladiator school. So I really wasn't looking forward to going there, and it lives up to its name. I'll tell you that. There's fights every day. It's wild. It's super wild, but okay, you guys, so I just wanted to cut this live short. It's been 30 minutes. I love y'all. Just wanted to hop on, talk a little bit about prison and everything that's been going on. If you guys have not already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that good stuff, so that you guys can tap in and watch every time I go live and you guys are notified because I don't always give notice for these lives. Like I didn't even give any notifications for this live stream tonight, but maybe I'll start doing that in the future because I do love investing in my audience and talking to you guys and connecting and answering questions. So, again, hit that subscribe button below, turn on notifications, stay tuned. All the links are up in my bio so you can tap in and check in with me across all my social media platforms. And until I see you guys next time, peace out. Later, guys.